Today we're brewing a Scottish Ale Spiced Winter Ale Extract Kit. So, first thing we do, lay out all of our stuff. Got our hops, our grains, here's some mulling spices to add the winter spice, our grain bag or sock, our instructions, and equipment, and our extract over there. So I already mixed up the sanitizing water, so we're good there. We got the sanitizing going. I use 2 gallons. I like to use this Easy Clean. It's basically a tablespoon per gallon. So you just mix it all together, give it a stir. I already got the water going in the kettle, have the flame on it. And so the first thing we're gonna do is fill the sock with the grain and get that seeping. Now the point of seeping the grain is so it's like a tea bag. So we're gonna take our sock, make it as big as possible, take our grain, open that up. I take the sock, open the grain, turn it upside down, shake it, it'll all come out. Take the bag, give it a knot. So you don't want that to spill. I broke a bag once, don't want to do that again. So we got our tea bag. We're just gonna come over here to our pot, our kettle, and set it in there. We're gonna let that seep. So we're gonna let it go for about 20 minutes and get the water temperature up to about 170. And as it goes, I'll show you the progress. Right now we have nice clean water. In a few minutes, you'll see it and it'll be starting to get a little darker. So a little progress check on steeping the grains. You can see the water's starting to get a little darker. We're about halfway through, about 10 minutes. Water's about 120 degrees. I like to shoot for that full 20 minutes of seeping. Try to get up to about 170, right around that 20-minute mark. So kind of low and slow. But you can see it's it's seeping out, and it's getting ready. It's getting there. It's getting close. All right, we're right at that 20-minute mark. So I'm gonna give this a good stir. And we're gonna take that bag out. So I got one of these a while back. This makes it a lot easier. You just reach in, scoop, and pull it right out. It'll sit there for a minute to drain out all the fluid. Push it against the side a little bit, as much as you can. If you look elsewhere, there are recipes out there how to make this into compost or dog treats and all kinds of stuff. I just throw mine away. So pop that in. So now we'll get the heat going to a boil. And once we get to a boil, we'll start adding our malt extract. So we have a nice boil going. So now we need to add our malt extract. So I'm going to turn off the flame. You can also remove it from the heat, whichever you want to do. And for this kit, we have 2 of these gold malt extract syrups. So I'm just going to show you how to add one. And you literally just need to pour it in. It has like a caramel-like consistency, as you can see. But make sure you stir a lot, all right? The reason you turn off the heat, because you don't want this to hit the bottom and start to scorch or burn. So you stir it in. Interestingly enough, this extract, once you get this in here, you officially have a wort, and you're on your way to making beer. So just keep mixing. Once it starts getting close, what I generally will do is take just a measuring cup, get some of that hot water, pour it in here, and it just kind of makes it a little looser. Kind of swish it around, pour it in. I'll do that just a couple times till you look in there and you think you got the majority of it out. You'll never get it all out. It's just too sticky, too caramely. Yeah, but you look on the bottom, there's not really any collecting. I'm gonna do one more just to be safe. And that's pretty good. So then I'll go ahead and add the second one, give it a stir, and we'll return to a boil. We got all the malt extract in, so now it's time to add the hops. We got a boil going. This one is a little bit too much. I'm going to turn it down just a smidge here. Calm it down. That's why you have to watch it and pay attention, because worst thing you can do is let it boil over. That will be bad. So when that happens, you just turn the heat down, and it'll, you can see it's starting to go down now. So while that goes down, I'm going to take the hops. This one's just U.S. Golding's hops. Open the package. Get a little smell. And as you're stirring, just kind of slowly drop them in there. You know, I like to do this a couple at a time here. Let them break down. These are basically just freeze-dried and compacted hops. And here's all of our hops. You get that smell going. Stir it in real good. What we're going to do is try to get this to a nice rolling boil for the next 60 minutes. For this kit, we add the hops now. We let it go for 60 minutes, and then we'll add the little spices, the mulling spices right here, which added that winter spice taste. So we'll check in throughout the process. You want to stir every so often. You want to make sure your boil's going well, but it is 60 minutes. So if you're brewing with some buddies, you know, sit down, sample some beers, eat some food, just keep an eye on it. If you're by yourself, you know, just do whatever task. I'll probably start cleaning the garage a little bit. Just a quick check-in. We're about halfway through the boil. It's a nice rolling boil. Everything's going well. In about 30 minutes, we'll finish her up. All right, we're at the end of the boil. It's been 60 minutes. So what we need to do now, we'll take our lid off, and we're going to add the mulling spices. Now at this point, you want to make sure everything is sanitized. So I'm going to dump this in my sanitizer. Make sure it's nice. Sanitize, same with my hands. And we'll open it up. Get some of this here. And we'll just pour that in. Just going to make it all the winter spice. So with that stirred in, turn off the heat. And we are going to start with the wort chiller. We're going to cool it down to a nice 65 degrees, transfer it to our primary fermenter, and throw some yeast in it. So let's start cooling this down. First thing I'm going to do is pour the remaining water in here, and that'll cool it real quick down to, you know, partially down to the bottom. Alright, so that's all the water. And so now I'm just going to take my wort chiller, which I already sanitized. Set it in here. Just start moving it up and down to mix it up as much as you can. And you'll feel on the one side, the side's getting hot, which means it's sucking in all that transferring water. So the cold water flows in through here, goes through the coil, comes out this side, and it collects the heat as it's moving. I'm going to do this for a few minutes and we'll check back in. Alright, we got the batch down to 68 degrees, which is where I was shooting for. I'm going to take the wort chiller out. Then I'll clean this off, straight off the hose, get it all nice and clean after we're all done. So now we're going to move it from here to our primary fermenting bucket. And to do that, you literally just pour it all in. Now make sure everything is sanitized. I sanitized that bucket, sanitized the lid, so we're all good. Get it all in there. So we're good. Then we just need to pitch the yeast. So to pitch the yeast, you sanitize our yeast packet, sanitize your scissors, your hands, sanitize everything. Bring it over, cut the top off, just kind of sprinkle it around. I like to put it on top. Some people like to give it a stir. That foam will dissolve and go away and that yeast will hit. So I don't really worry about doing a stir. If I stir, I'm afraid I'm going to get the yeast out of there because it'll stick to the spoon. So with the yeast pitched, take our lid, make sure it's sealed all the way around, and last but not least is the bubbler. So for this one, I'm going to use a different one. So with this type, you take it, you fill it up to about that line. Maybe a little more, a little too much. Get there and you really just have to set that on there and the air will come up, it'll push this guy up and then the air will escape through the little holes that are on that lid. So let's put it in here. And we'll wait. In about 2 weeks it'll be ready to go. I'm going to move it down to the basement and we will check it later.